I think step one is audience first, product second. I think that there has to be an available universe of people or consumers who are there to actively buy your product or service. Most people like I said before, most people underestimate the cost of attention and the cost of customer acquisition. Those are two critical factors. Part B of that would be is just because you're passionate about it doesn't mean everybody else is. So that leads back to like, is there an audience out there? And you can get that through, even keyword research, just going out. How many people are searching for the thing that you're providing? How many options are there on Amazon for your product? Most people will tell you that, competition is bad. I mean, competition is great. Like, you want a competitive market. You want people to have choice, not unlimited choice, but like you want them to have an option. They need to have something to compare to. They need to be able to seek you out, find other options. If you're the only thing in the world that does that, then you have to educate people that they need to do that. Alternatively, it's already been out there. You are just maybe you're serving an underserved market, but there is a market out there for the thing that you're providing, product or service. I think the second part of that is understanding what's called the diffusion of innovation. And basically it's an adoption methodology. You can go and just Google diffusion of innovation. And what you'll see is just a large bell curve. So here's what happens is that somebody goes, they're thinking they're in their cubicle, they're in their office, they're on their sales route, and they're like, I'm going to sell X product. And turns out, let's say they're going to sell, t-shirts, right? And they're going to sell women's t-shirts. That's their thing. Well, congratulations. You just knocked out 50% of the world, right? So let's not do that. The second part of that is like, let's make sure there's actually a total universe and an available universe. So a total universe might be, all humans need a shirt, right? So there's 7 billion of those. Of those, how many are actually available? Like, who out there, it's not 7 billion, that's not the number, right? So it's probably smaller than that. So you need to start with that number, not the bigger number. And the second one is about adoption rate. So what ends up happening is people are saying, I'm going to make $1 million in year 3, right? So I'm going to be making $1 million every year. That is about $100,000 a month in sales. And that is, just doing that, like what, $3,000 a day. Like, that's going to happen, right? And so they're not thinking about, well, what happens when those first sales don't happen on day 1 or year 3, right? So what ends up happening is there's like this cash burn rate where it says that, when I wrote my business case, it was built on the bigger number, the total universe, not the available. And the second part of that equation is, well, it's built on this customer adoption rate. So it turns out in diffusion of innovation, doesn't matter if it's sneakers, iPhones, water, whatever it is, only 2.5% of the population is your early adopters.
Yep.
There's another part that's sort of like your early majority, your late majority, your laggers, right? All of these things that play out. And if you were working your way through the top of the bell curve, you would hit about like 60% of the market. So when you're sitting here, and this is where I think most companies fail, it's not always the plan, it's about like working the plan. And if I had to go over and if I had to educate and like do this for selling a product and service, number 1, how big is the available universe, not the total? And then what happens if I only get 60% of the market? Can I still succeed? Do I have enough cash? Will this work? Like, that is the number we have to use. Not really the 60, like, can I afford the 2% and the 16%, like 18% for the first year, or definitely not day 1 of sales. I'm not going to open the door and sales are going to happen that day, but like, how can I play this out to actually have adoption? I don't have 100% market share. I never will. It's the smaller number. Like, can I make this profitable? And I think too many people focus on the bigger number and 100% adoption, and they run out of money, like, as things are taking off. So that'd be number 2.
Wow.
And then I think the third part is about investing in non-revenue producing activities. I think that looking back on myself personally, the faster I invested in non-revenue producing activities or dropping the things I sucked at and outsourcing it to other people, the more beneficial that was to our growth and the more it happened and more it helped us grow. So I'll give you an example. We could all sit here and pump out invoices on Excel and Google Sheets and send all that and do all your books in Excel, right? Or you could spend a little money and go on Zoho. You could spend a little bit more than that and go on QuickBooks. You could spend a little bit more than that and get a bookkeeper. You could spend a little more than that and get an accountant. Like you can go all the way up. The faster you can get, for me, it was the finance side of operations. The faster I got that off my plate and let somebody else take it, and hired I think our first bookkeeper was from like a Upwork, and $50 an hour, and what she could do in 3 hours would take me 8. And the faster I paid her $150 so I could go off and do the things I was great at, the better off we were. And whether that's on the services side of project management or finance or accounting or HR, whatever the non-revenue producing activities, the faster you can invest in non-revenue producing activities, the faster you will grow. Too many people want to associate, they want to put $1 in the machine and get $1.50 back, whether that's in marketing or people or sales or whatever it is. But what if I were to tell you, if I put $1 in this machine and I got back 60 cents, but I put $1 in this machine and I got back $2.40, like I would do that all day, right? But too many people just look at the thing instead of looking at the system. And the more they focus on the system, the better off they'll be moving forward.